One of the other differences we need to note on preparing or making sure you have the right potentiometer for the job is the difference in the shaft. Two basic differences in shafts. This is, again, a Model 95 Premium. I'm just using an example as a comparison, our Model 82 vintage potentiometer. The difference here is that one has a knurled shaft. It actually has these splines on it. And this other model here has a plain shaft. The difference being a knurled shaft is typically used where we have a knob that pushes on. And when you buy a knob like this, or you're using the one that you removed first before you upgraded your guitar, it has the spline markings in there already. So when it gets put back on the guitar, what's holding the knob on is this interface here with these splines. Other knobs, such as this one, which happens to come off a jazz bass type guitar, actually is held on with a set screw. So in that case, we would want to use a plain shaft where the knob then goes on and then it's tightened down with a screwdriver up against the shaft. This type of knob can go on this type of potentiometer, but what you typically end up with is a knob that sits like this. So think about that when you're preparing to purchase the new potentiometers from Bourne's or Bourne's distributor. Make sure that you order the right one depending on the knobs you have. Now when you ground or hook up a wire to anything, we recommend that you would strip and tin the wire first. And you use any kind of strippers. This is a typical wire stripper. Has various wire sizes in it, and it's quite simple. You just close it down and pull it off, and you end up with the insulation off, and the wire is exposed. Most wire that you will see is stranded, and when you strip the end of the wire off, you'll just have all the strands kind of going in different directions. We're going to take those and we're going to spin them around and wrap them up into a nice tight loop, and then we're going to tin the wire. One thing to keep in mind when you are installing these potentiometers, not only Bourne's potentiometers, but any potentiometer, the potentiometer is a three-terminal device. There's at one end of a resistor, another end of a resistor, and then a third terminal, which we call the wiper. So in theory, I could flip this over this way and over this way and hook it up either way and it would work, and that's very true. When we're in a guitar application, it's important to follow the drawing and take note of the terminals. So if this is terminal 1, the wiper is almost always terminal 2, and the last terminal is 3, and Bourne's will show you a drawing that does this, okay, which is just showing you the direction of the rotation of the potentiometer clockwise means that the wiper is moving from terminal 1 to terminal 3. Why is this important? If you hook it up the other way, what you'll end up doing is when you're playing, and we'll use a volume control as an example, and we turn this potentiometer up to 10, if you have it in backwards, what you'll end up doing is turning the volume of the guitar off. And that's not what you want to do. So you want to make sure you follow the drawing, which the drawings will show the terminal already set up properly. The same thing would happen to you with the tone control. When you were wanting to have the brightest sound by turning your tone control up to 10, what you would in effect be doing if it was hooked up in reverse would be cutting all the highs out. So completely the opposite of what you're looking for. Now if you happen to be like a backwards control, and then just hook them up backwards. It's totally up to you, but typically the way it's done is when we turn things up to 11, we want it full on, full volume, brightest tone, and if you follow the prints, we'll be in good shape. And you'll find on guitars that were not manufactured in North America, many times the potentiometer or switch holes are not U.S. standard sizes. They typically are metric. So in the case of this guitar had 9mm bushing potentiometers installed in it as manufactured. The Bourne's potentiometer bushings are 3/8 of an inch, and the difference between 9mm and 3/8 of an inch comes down to something like 0.02 inches, which is just enough to make the Bourne's potentiometer not fit into that original hole. So the simple solution to that, and this guitar has already been prepared this way, is we typically would like to see someone take a file, a curved file, and just kind of go around inside this hole and relieve it just a little bit. 0.02 inches is not much. You won't have to file a lot, and it's a little bit safer to do that than it is to use a drill on a guitar like this. If you must use a drill, you need to put a block behind here somewhere as a place for the drill to get to have a reference point to get into, and you want to drill from the surface of the guitar into the body, not from the back to the front. That way you won't ruin the surface of this. One personal thing I like to do is, we have to do this, I take some painter's tape, that blue tape you find in your home improvement store, and just put it around here, and that will also further prevent any splintering of the surface of this. But the safest way is to use a file, and that way we don't have to worry about doing any damage to the surface of the guitar. In this case, this is a pick guard, so drilling that is the fix for that. In a 3/8 inch diameter drill, and drill it out before you prepare and insert the potentiometer.